She used to text back in seconds. She used to light up when your name popped up on her screen. There was warmth in her voice, energy in her presence, a sense that you mattered. But now, silence. Delayed replies, distant looks, vibes you can't quite decode. And the hardest part, deep down you know she still feels something. You can sense it in her hesitation, in her avoidance. It's not emptiness, it's something else. And yet here you are, confused, hurt, maybe even angry. But here's the Stoic truth few men are ever taught. A woman can ignore you and still be madly in love. Yes, you heard that right. Because love, real love, isn't always loud. Sometimes it hides, sometimes it runs. Let me explain why. Most men make the mistake of taking a woman's silence personally. They interpret her distance as disinterest. They spiral, they chase, they plead for validation. But what if I told you that sometimes silence doesn't mean she's feeling nothing? It means she's feeling too much. Not emptiness, but intensity. Not indifference, but inner chaos. And the moment you understand this, everything changes. Because how you respond, not react, determines whether she feels safe enough to return or justified enough to walk away. Today, we're going to break down 7 powerful psychological reasons a woman might distance herself, even when she loves you, and how the Stoic man handles each moment with wisdom, not weakness. Welcome to Living Stoic, where we master relationships by mastering ourselves, living by inner law. Let's go deep. 1. She's overwhelmed by her own feelings. Sometimes love doesn't arrive gently. It comes in waves, fierce, unexpected, and consuming. When a woman falls deeply, truly deeply, in love, the experience can shake her. Not all women are prepared for the depth of that emotional storm. It's not that she stopped caring, it's that she started caring more than she expected. And now her nervous system is flooded, doubts, hopes, fears all blending together. She feels vulnerable, exposed, out of control. And so, instead of leaning in, she pulls away. Not out of malice, not to hurt you, but to breathe. And this is where the average man panics. He takes her withdrawal as a threat and tries to fix it, to chase her, to win her back. But the Stoic man, he doesn't chase noise. He watches the storm and remains still. He understands that space isn't always rejection. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's what allows the heart to re-regulate. Give her space. Let her feel safe in her own chaos. And when the dust settles, she'll remember who remains still, unshaken. 2. She's testing your stability. This one stings for many men, but it's a necessary lesson. Women test, not because they're manipulative, but because they're wired to seek strength. When she distances herself, when she stops texting as much, or seems emotionally off, it's often a test, not of your knowledge, but of your stability. She wants to know, will you crumble? Will you lose your center? Will her silence turn you into a desperate boy chasing after validation? Or will you remain a man, solid, grounded, and unmoved? A Stoic man doesn't beg. He doesn't double text. He doesn't explode in a fit of emotion. He breathes. He carries on with his mission. Because his identity is not defined by her attention. When you pass the test, not by what you say, but by how you carry yourself, she feels something stronger than excitement. She feels trust. And that trust? That's the root of real attraction. 3. She's afraid of losing control. Love is powerful, but for a woman who's been betrayed, abandoned, or used in the past, it's also terrifying. When she starts to feel herself falling, her first instinct might be to pull back, to protect herself from going too far, too fast, to regain a sense of control. And here's where most men blow it. They try to reassure her through words, while simultaneously chasing her energy and amplifying her fear. But the Stoic man does the opposite. He doesn't push. He doesn't panic. He trusts in his value. And most importantly, he respects her timing. Because love isn't about controlling the other. It's about mastering the self. If she's yours, she'll return. Not because you pulled her, but because she felt safe enough to come back on her own. 4. She doesn't want to feel dependent. Some women pride themselves on being independent, self-reliant, emotionally untouchable. But then, something shifts. They meet you. They start craving your voice, your presence, your leadership, and it terrifies them. They don't want to feel like they need anyone. So they pull away, not out of rejection, but out of resistance. Because being drawn to you makes them feel uncomfortable with their own self-image. Dependency feels like weakness, so they choose silence to reclaim their strength. The Stoic response? Don't try to convince her otherwise. Don't chase. Don't argue. Let her rediscover her autonomy while you build yours. Keep moving, keep creating, keep evolving. She'll respect the man who respects her independence without sacrificing his own. And that balance? That's what creates long-term magnetism. 5. She's waiting to see if you'll chase. Sometimes silence is not confusion, it's strategy. She wants to know, if I take a step back, what will he do? Will he beg? Will he panic? Will he send 5 texts in a row and stalk my stories at midnight? Or will he stay grounded? Will he continue living his life? Will he keep showing up for himself, focused, calm, and centered? This is where attraction either grows or collapses. Because when a woman senses that her withdrawal causes your collapse, the pedestal disappears, and so does the desire. But if she pulls away and sees that your world keeps spinning, that you are still pursuing purpose, still rising in your mission, she feels something much deeper than attraction. She feels respect, and respect is what brings her back, not out of guilt, but out of recognition. 6. She wants you to prove you're not like the rest. Every woman has a story. Behind the beauty, the charm, the flirtation, there's a history of betrayal, of disappointment, of men who promised the world and delivered silence. So when she starts feeling something real, old wounds whisper in her ear, "Don't trust it, don't fall, you'll just get hurt again." And in those moments, she may ignore you, not to punish you, but to protect herself. It's a subconscious defense. She needs to see, are you like the others? Or will you stay steady, even when she doesn't make it easy? And this is the moment where many men fail. They react emotionally, they argue, they lash out or try to guilt her into coming back. But the Stoic man? He doesn't prove himself with desperation. He proves himself through stillness, through his energy, through the calm that says, I'm not here to fix you. I'm here to honor myself, and you can meet me there if you choose. And that choice, that freedom, is where trust begins. 7. She's trying to maintain her power. We live in a world where power dynamics are blurred. Everyone is trying to gain the upper hand. Sometimes, when a woman feels herself falling too fast, feeling too much, she'll pull away just to feel in control again. It's not always conscious, but it's real. She wants to balance the scales, to not lose herself, to test the waters of detachment just enough to feel powerful again. But here's where most men go wrong. They react, they chase, they validate her fear by giving her all the power. Not because they're weak, because they're unaware. But a Stoic man, he doesn't participate in that game. He doesn't chase power, he radiates it. He doesn't get rattled when she withdraws. He stays in frame, calm, confident, composed. And ironically, by not needing to prove anything, he becomes the most attractive force in her life. What you should never do. Let's get something clear right now. There's a difference between a woman creating space from love and a woman using emotional manipulation as a form of control. You're not here to tolerate disrespect under the disguise of patience. So here's what you never do. Don't beg. Don't send essay texts. Don't stalk her social media. Don't lose sleep wondering, why is she doing this? Let her actions speak. And you speak through your peace, through your presence, through your discipline. You don't earn love by proving your worth to someone confused about yours. You reveal your worth by refusing to betray your own dignity. What a Stoic man does instead, he observes, without attachment. He doesn't spiral, he notices. He detaches not from caring, but from needing. He watches, not with fear, but with awareness. If she pulls away, he doesn't chase. He keeps showing up for himself. Every single day, he sharpens his edge, protects his time, deepens his purpose, and if she returns, great. If not, he's still ascending. Because his value was never built on her attention. It was built on inner law. That's the kind of man who becomes unforgettable. Not because he tried to be, but because he couldn't be moved. The brutal truth? Sometimes women ignore the man they love the most. Not to wound him, but because they're fighting something inside. But your reaction? That's where your power is born. If you stay grounded, if you stay composed, if you stand as the man who doesn't beg, doesn't break, doesn't chase, she'll feel it. And whether she admits it or not, she'll remember it. Because the man who walks in peace is rare. The man who doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and doesn't need to be chosen. That man becomes unforgettable. He's not the one who chased her. He's the one she comes back to, or regrets losing for the rest of her life. If this message hit home, subscribe now to the channel. This is Living Stoic. Where we don't chase love, we become the man worth being pursued. Living by inner law. Watch the next video to keep rising.